Cool. We are now live. I'm going to be going over this in a separate video during your warm-up because the enemy team was just terrible during your other game, but this game we're going to be understanding the difference between neutral space and good space, because it's going to be very important to understand what good space is versus what neutral space is to know when you should push and when you shouldn't. Because in reality, it's a waste of resources and it's a high risk to push into areas that are not space that you need to acquire unless the target's like 1 HP and you know you can get it out. There are exceptions to what I'm saying, but you guys do it so often that I need to go over this before we do it. So, looking at our comp and looking at theirs and looking at the map geometry, it's very important to control certain areas because it creates angles onto point. When we put angles onto point, we just default win, right? Because it's an objective-based game. So, when we are playing for good space, this is the good space, right? This right here, over here, not good, not good, not good, not good, mid as fuck. That, I think cage is mid as fuck unless you're trying to do a full rotation and force somebody off of this height. Y'all just rotate back to point and then they can have this height and it means fuck all because you're now controlling point. This is not an area that you need to control unless, no, not really. So, defaulting to this area, reacting and hitting them here is okay just to see if you could get a kill, but is not important whatsoever. So, let's watch this fight back and see how we can control space better. And the space that we actually want, depending on the comp we have. And the enemy team comp, because the enemy team comp's a pure rush comp, so you guys should just be able to outrange them and do all of the shenanigans. Okay, let's watch this. So we take height, they take cage. It means actually nothing to take cage. They get a dive, and now you guys get high ground for free. And you guys have all the control on the map. The tracer's going for a wrap. Lucio's dead. Perfect. So by now, you guys don't really have to do anything except protect your backline. So your Ashe got coach gunned off. Cajun just shot a monkey when there's a... Your backline's going to survive this. This is not space you need to play for, since your entire team is now trying to control this space, so you could just take the Sojourn out of the space that you need. Your entire comp is built around surviving a monkey dive. It's why monkey is bad. If they can survive an Orisa, you do not need to care him unless it's super easy, and it's the only person you could go on. It's like the last possible option, but forcing a Sojourn out means the monkey's not going to kill anything. So, right now, we are controlling point in a way because they're now in cage. Our backline should be counter-rotating because we always want to be controlling this space and allowing our Ashe to take long fights, right? This space is what's important because this space controls point and this space controls high grounds. This space controls everything. So forcing out of all that is super crucial. So, based off of that, our backline should be setting up to be able to continue to establish this space with the, them trying to take the high ground away from us. So, our Ashe could be taking up here, or even wildly take up here, right? And what should our backline be doing as the rotate? So, since they are going this way, what is the proper counter rotate? This way, and that means that your, your brig can still, pack your tracer if their tracer tries to go point, in all of the above, right? But, your tracer is now fighting for space that is absolutely doo-doo cheeks that no one cares about, and just forcing all of their own resources and making the team feel sad. They're right behind the Lucio here, if you couldn't tell. So, let's watch this. Let's see how we rotate. Not very quick on the rotate. We're still controlling point. It's a very easy rush onto the brig because, and then they wrap this way. So you guys should be going this way. So they have, when they're forcing point, you could still provide care. What is it? Your Ashe should be taking this high ground or taking this. All of the above. Like, you guys are just kind of defaulting to point, and if they just run at your brig should just die here. But they don't. I'm recording it anyway. You hate me.
Yes.
You change windows. I could be like Darren Mack and go, oh, don't worry, I'm streaming on Twitch. Go watch it there. But I'm not. I'm streaming it on YouTube, so it records the VODs for me without actually having to download anything.
Oh, I'm gonna watch you live on YouTube.
Egast. Ooh. But, yeah. Your brig's just going to die here, realistically. Your Diva's going to have to peel, and then you guys just gave them all the angles in the world. Sojourn gets high ground for free. Their Tracer gets the side angle. Mac just hits the shot, and their tank ins. Oh, well. But in reality, they should have killed you guys. That was a really bad play from them. They should have just amped speed it at your brig and then used the cooldowns to chase or get out. But don't worry. Mac just gets fucking diffed. Happens. Okay. Zombie's still trying to control these stairs for some reason. Never physically reset onto high ground because we're still not trying to establish this is our area of control. You being right here, you're not really controlling this area. If you were right here, for instance, you could still be in pack range of this person, this person, this person, and have an escape route. And your team can stabilize on you, and you can brawl, right? With the mini and all that stuff. I'm not going to bash your Juno too hard because Ringer, oh well, that happens. They don't get the coaching like you kids do, but I'm watching uncharacteristic mistakes, like just staying on the low ground doing fuck all. It just makes it so they are going to out-brawl you, especially with the brig. We only want to brawl when we choose to brawl. You're not in a default brawl state. Okay. So now that they are going to be in control of this space, let's talk about the retake. The retake is incredibly important here because they have to get this angle. Why, like, hundreds of thousands of other coaches... I hate this map because all the colors blend in. And I'm a broke bitch. Let's do black. What is it? All your coaches over all time have said you have to force this high ground, right? They're right. Because that's the only high ground that can actually physically duel this space without losing. But, in reality, who's the only people who benefit from this space? Up here. The people who can duel and the people who can sustain a dive. So, your brig... what is it? Your brig, Juno, Ashe can go up here as a bait, and you set up your Tracer to wrap this way to force point, and your Diva to control this space. Right? If she sets up right here, perfect. If your Ashe hits a good target onto here, she can jump on here. If your Tracer gets a good clip onto like a Lucio or something, she could go here. Or, by default, your team is just going to live this monkey because their Tracer has to mark our Tracer if they go point. So this monkey's going to have nobody to follow up with him. He is either going to stay in, use his primal, they have nothing else to contest with it, and you guys just either speed out or Yeah, this monkey should not just be able to live in your heads rent-free. And then your diva right here is just peppering people, presenting as a threat, and jumping the person that is low and adapting to the situation. It's not just default jump this high ground, default shoot the monkey. It's adapting to what your Ashe and your Tracer are doing at all times. If your Ashe is taking too much pressure, like the Tracer did a wrap like this, your diva is going to be able to be right here and be able to mark the Tracer or mark the monkey. It's just standing up here is just telegraphing your ideas way too hard. Okay, let's watch this fight. That's retaking. And then ultimates are ultimates. I went over that in the last video, how you guys should be approaching ultimates. Your diva is forcing low. Kira sees that their Tracer should see that their Tracer is marking at this person's diving, this person's in, and this person's in. That means you just get cart for free. And then it forces all of them back, and that means team can press W. Because all of that, there was easier routing to not accidentally get headshot by a Sojourn on this angle or this angle. Some better routing would be to do this, force them out of this room, or a routing like this to ease a point. This rotation is kind of mid as fuck, or this rotation, because this mini dueling here means fuck all, because the Tracer should be marking point. If you're dueling the enemy, once you realize the enemy Tracer's here, leave. It means nothing, because they're not marking the point, and that means you could eat, if they're not going to be routing towards the point, that means you get to shoot their tank, their backline, and everything else, because they're too busy trying to set up a dive on this map. And Tracer hasn't been a dive character for a while. Okay, we bobbed the point. They used Kitsune. We initiated a brawl, but our backline never walked. They have no monkey, so they actually have no way to walk onto our brig. So our brig should have dropped off of high ground to try and control this space. Again, she could be right here, trying to boop them back, proccing Inspire. But also, you being right here means they go, oh, a free brig, and then you bash back to right here. And then your Juno can carry you, you could carry your Juno, and just more proccing, more chance of enemy team dying. We have already won this fight, but we're going to take forever since Zombie's just kind of up there taking damage. Drop! Drop! Where the fuck are you going? Anyway. You guys chase these kills. It's whatever. Get this. So we need to establish this space. Mac wants to take this angle to better duel the Soj because she's not going to be able to just have an easy straight shot. She's going to have a shot this way, which is more difficult. But when you can take these greedier angles. So you guys need to be posturing for that. So your brig should be just defaulting to this high ground or this low ground to have an escape route. And your Juno shall be bouncing around right here, right here. Your, your diva can be posturing right around here or up here to be able to control it. Your Tracer should be down here. And look at how it's like a perfect square around the space that you need to control. Because if you can control this space, it's easier to control the enemy space that they want to take. You control here, by default, it's harder to hold this space, or this space, or this space. Any space that they are trying to take, you by default are going to be in more of an inherent advantage. So, Diva's going up here, just brawling the thing. Kira went in super early to go for just a one clip, happens. Able to do it, we rally in. But unfortunately, we all focused on point. It was 99. We could have just let them have the point here, guys. We're at 99. You guys could have all left the point and walk on the one person who could have turned this fight. And in reality, they're going to. Because there she goes killing that. She's off the map, oh well, but They're going to slowly dwindle down your resources because they established angles on you and you guys just gave them because you gave up all the space. If you guys are in advantage, you can give the point flip for the sole purpose of just fish in a barrel right here. In reality, you guys should have just given this flip and left because you guys are going to now dwindle resources. They have the good angle, and GG's. You're not prepared to fight this. Okay, we're now on the retake phase again. There's Sojourns over here this time, so we have to be very, careful. Kira telegraphing their position again. Letting their Lucio and the rest of their team know exactly where they're going to touch from. And they just let them do it, apparently. That's crazy. And then you send your diva up there to control the space. Bob goes on to point. Bob goes off a point. And then, Kira just one clips. We go in on a Kitsune, which makes no sense. Do we still win this fight? It's a 3v. It's a 3v2. Sojourn's not going to be back for a while. You guys should just win this fight since Ball's a shit character. And no one above tier 1 knows how to play him. No one below tier 1. Cool. That's some generalized things about controlling space. I'll be going over it with the rest of the maps pretty easily. But it's really easy to tell what kind of maps you want to control. Like on here, you guys want to control mostly this left side. This left side is an incredible area to control, especially if you go onto these Orisa comp. These Brawl comps want to control these lanes. Right? The lanes are incredibly important to control on Brawl, whereas with like a more diva high mobility comp, it's usually an area you want to control. Because areas you can surround and do all that with high mobility characters, it's easier to surround. When you're on an Orisa / Brawl, you want to control lanes because they can run forward incredibly fast, and they're also very weak to flanks, which are the other lanes. Also, Kira, why did you message me, question marks?
Accident.
Who are you messaging?
I was meant to be someone else.
Oh my god. But, what is it for generalized thing? You guys should just, before a thing, remember what you're playing for, what you're playing against, and all that stuff. I need more talking about how you guys are gonna play instead of ultimates. So like, oh, what's the difference between these two comps? They're on Akiri Lucio and you're on Brig Juno, and they're on Tracer Widow and you guys are on Tracer Widow, but they're on more of a rush thing. You guys are more of a brawl thing. You can your Brig Juno can walk down this Orisa here while your Tracer still establishes sidelines and your Widowmaker gets to do everything, right? Because of the comp difference. So if I was somebody on your team and you guys scout that they have this, you go, okay, we can just mow this Orisa. Just mow that Orisa down in a brawl. And that's the fight plan. And we are trying to control Mega. If Matt goes, oh, I want a better angle, then you guys change. But like, if Matt goes, okay, I'm gonna swap to Cass, then you guys are on an even harder brawl, so walking down the Orisa is even better. So you go to here, and then you stop right around here because you lose your Widow shots. But that's some, let's look at this one. I don't want this video to be super duper long because it's some pretty applicable stuff to like every map, and watching the entire map isn't the most important for stuff like this. So we are looking at, they are on the Kiri Lucio, you guys are on the Juno Lucio. That means you guys are going to be going for crossfires, and the Lucio carries the Sojourn. So you're gonna have to play a lot slower since they are going to be on the Kiri. And you guys are going to be on this, so you want to play for your ultimate, and Cajun just can either walk them down, but you guys are going to be on the Tracer. So in reality, you can no longer walk them down since you can't establish angles to walk them down. You can't establish anything, so you play slow, wait for a rail, and your Tracer chases the rail, and then you guys can walk in with a Risa and try to play second here. Because if you guys just let their Tracer +1 their Lucio the entire game, it's just going to make your Risa go hard. So you guys are playing for this lane, and this lane. This stuff is fuck all. No one cares about this stuff. If they're playing right here, they should just be gunned down. For the shitters that they are. And that's based on the comp you're running. If you guys swapped to the Cass and swap back to the Brig, you need to be establishing angle right here or right here to be able to walk this sideline or walk this side lane when the tank walks and give when they're right here. It's just establishing what comp you're on and what you're trying to play for. But